Welcome back, everybody. We're coming back from that Spies versus DV match in which Spies swept it 7-0. I think the match was a bit quicker. I think we timed it a bit quicker than the rehost and technical difficulties were. So that was that was an interesting match indeed. Coming up now, as we said, we do have the Hellside versus Sphynx match. Now, both of these teams are coming off of 7-1 losses last week. Hellside did fall 7-1 to Endpoint, whereas Sphynx fell 7-1 to B Titans. They're both looking to jump back from that. Now, the difference being Hellside, that was 1-game losing streak. Sphynx were looking at an 8-game losing streak. So we're really hoping for Sphynx's sake here that they can turn things around, get the season going. But both teams are out of the picture now for the playoffs. So going into this match, they should just be going full force, no hold bars. What do you think we can see from these teams, Sternab?
Hopefully I see Sphynx proving to people that they have actually learned something over the course of the league. On a lot of their attacks, they honestly just seem lost about what's going on. There was one particular game against Titanium Cloud on Clubhouse where they banned Thatcher, and it just felt like Sphynx had no idea how to attack that site without Thatcher.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's an opportunity here that you're kind of right as well. Like they're out both out the playoff spot, right? So this game doesn't really matter that much, but it's a good opportunity to kind of like scrim a little bit, I guess, and like just test out some new stuff and see what works, what doesn't. I'm more interested in what Hellside do here than anyone else, because there's really two approaches you can take to a match like this. Like it's on stream, but also doesn't really matter. Either you can kind of like meme about and do whatever, and you can just be like really super aggressive and just have fun with it. Mm-hmm. Or you can use it as an opportunity to test some stuff, or just generally just play out your strats and kind of just scrim it in a way. And I feel like Hellside is kind of gonna go towards more of that fun aspect of it and kind of just mess around, because I feel like that's what most teams. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see a little bit more of that from Spies. We saw it a little bit from their defense, and we did see a little bit from Pence's defense during the last matchup. But we'll have a look overall how this map does go down, and well, let's get into the rosters and see who's going to be playing who.
Yeah, definitely. And just before we name off the rosters here, just letting you know that our off-stream match was Endpoint going up against Titanium Cloud Esports. Endpoint did take that one 7-3. But now for those rosters that we've been talking about here, we've got Hellside Esport, and they're featuring Loudy, Shanice, Skylia, Stelenia, and Ganesh. Ganesh being the big name there. Going up against Sphynx with TR Cat, Dina, Axie, Heim, and Pinky. Is there anyone on Sphynx that has stood out in any capacity to you, or has made the most improvements, let's say, that you think could help their team here?
I think TR Cat has been doing a pretty decent job. I mean, the issue with Sphynx to me isn't individual players, because I think they're all like pretty capable players. They have a big issue, it seems, with team coordination and actually like looking what they want to do with a push, particularly their attacks, right? Like their attacks seem really all over the place, right? Like, and it isn't even the fact that they're making individual plays, they're just making the wrong choices. Like, especially that Clubhouse, like if you go back and you watch that Clubhouse attacks, it was all over the place, and they were doing it as if there was no Thatcher ban on the board, and they were playing the map like there was no Thatcher ban. So I feel like Sphynx's issue is not individual players, it is just understanding, right, and how adaptable you can be, like, because operator bans make the game very, very different. So I just haven't seen that improvement from Sphynx across the entire season.
Just don't forget that being 008 right now in maps actually doesn't really help you motivationally. So
yeah,
like we can hope that they show what they've learned over the season, but I'm just afraid that they've already given up hope, and that they made peace with the fact that there will be 009 at the end of the night, and that we might be seeing some stuff, some sparks of life. But I don't expect too much of them. They got 5 rounds over the entire season, over 9 weeks of 8 weeks so far. There's 8 matches of which potentially 15 rounds. They managed to get 5. So for me, it looks like they've already given up on potentially winning a match or even getting it close, and they're just wanting to get it over with. Maybe try go back to the drawing board for next seasons for other leagues or stuff like that, right? They need to improve somewhere. But like if you're in the middle of a season and you're doing like they are currently going on, like their streak that they have, that works everything but motivating. So like I really think that Hellside is going to be having a quite easy match right here coming out.
Well, also Hellside are coming out of their own loss streak. The last 3 matches in a row, they've all lost. Out of the 5 losses they've had, 3 of them had been in the last 3 weeks in a row at that as well, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's not like motivational for you. And yeah, that whole kind of series of defeats completely killed their playoffs run. So yeah, this is kind of a weird matchup to kind of look at it. So, we'll have a look at the map veto and see what map bans we are going to be dishing out here, and then we'll see what map we are going to be going to here. What do you think here, Hap?
Looking at what Hellside likes to play, they have won console twice, round differential 1919. So I mean that is their best map statistically. So Consulate is going to be the map they want to go to. Now, if we're going for Sphynx, let me just quickly go over this. Well, where did they get much rounds? I see 1. I see against Penta, they managed to get 3 rounds on border, which is basically more than half of their rounds that they managed to get. So maybe a border could be an interesting pick for them, even though that's a map that Hellside has only lost whenever they played it, and pretty heavily as well with the 2-7. So it's going to be an interesting one to go for. And as we see the bans coming down, it's actually both those maps still being up, both border and not consulate. Consulate got banned. No, consulate got banned.
This can be an opportunity if it does end up as border here, which is looking pretty likely right now, for Hellside to now practice their border and go to a team that is weaker, but also going into a map that doesn't really matter the result of, and to be able to, as you say, like scrim it and try something new and kind of just practice it. Border, also a very, very loose map. We just saw how loose it can be played. So, it's an opportunity for you to kind of just play around with it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And indeed, it is going to be border, as that is the only map. Well, Hellside has lost it before pretty heavily as well. And this looks to be Sphynx, their strongest map, considering they got most rounds on this map. Compared to any other 3 out of the 5 they got over the season. So expecting that Sphynx might be able to put up a fight here, depending on what side they start on. Not completely sure how that's going to be working out. If they start on defense, I think they have a good opportunity in getting some rounds in. Maybe 3, maybe 4.
So Sphynx start on the defense, sir. We'll have a look what they want to do here and how that's going to play out. So we're having a few connection issues with the last member of Hellside to be able to get in. So we're just going to talk about the game and talk about the matchup a little bit more before we do indeed get into that. Yeah, I think like the map Anycup's border, obviously, as we said, this is Sphynx's best map. If there were to be a best map, they haven't been able to take a map, but as you said, 3 of the 5 rounds they managed to win have been on border. So
yeah,
if there's anything that they should be able to do here, it should be on border.
Definitely, like border is the map where they probably feel most comfortable, possibly as well due to it being a map that has been so established over the course of time. Like you can basically make a step-by-step plan on how border will be going. If you go for office attack or if you go for armory attack, there's a step-by-step plan on how you deal with it. So because it's so established, because it's so known, maybe Sphynx is going to have a upper hand because of that, or well, at least a step up compared to their normal performance, as it requires maybe a little bit of less of strategy or strategizing to actually make this map work for you, and thus get some extra rounds in. But of course, we're going to have to wait to see if that's actually going to be the case, or if Hellside maybe will be pulling something out of their heads, maybe go just as aggressive as Spice just did as well, and completely overrun Sphynx. Like, we're going to have to see.
The interesting part about this map for these two teams is that they've both banned Pulse when they've been here.
Yeah.
And they've both lost this map as well. And actually, the scoreline wasn't too different from when these two teams went to this map. Hellside lost to B-Titan 7-2. And Sphynx lost to Penta 7-3. So, like maybe we'll see some pretty similar bans. Sphynx also ban out Thatcher a lot. Like they ban out it a lot.
But
So
why though? That's like if you don't make good use of it, it's the same as banning Jaeger and then bringing no grenades, right?
yeah. They also did get 7-0'd by T3H, now known as Endpoint,
Endpoint,
sorry, in
yeah.
the very first week. So, maybe Hellside has an opportunity to kind of look back at what happened in that first week and how that 7-0 did actually happen. I think a big factor of that, because I do remember that match, that it was really just about Endpoint just playing really aggressive, and they had that CC hold that was just, they just couldn't get rid of it at all. Things, no matter what they did, they just could not get rid of a CC hold at all. So, well,
it's just those little tricks as well that make it so easy to get rid of for CCTV. Like often you see like a Ash charge from, I believe that is the tension to go through. Make sure that someone playing behind the monitors basically instantly down to 50 HP, something like that. Like, that kind of stuff. We often see that the teams in the like lower tiers of Rainbow Six Siege, they forget those kind of things. They forget to bring it into their playstyle. And because of that, they have so much issue trying to clear out CCTV, for example. So hoping that Sphynx or Hellside both will be aware of certain tricks on how to clear out CCTV. Like, bringing this back to, for example, Challenge League, Kekona Kokoptri has a very good way to clear out CCTV in Border. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, can I just stop you there for a second?
Okay, yeah.
If we're going to sit here and we're going to fill, I'm bringing Brimstone back into the conversation.
All right.
So that we can have a three-way conversation instead. So let's throw Brimstone back in here. Brimstone, I want to hear your thoughts about all this.
My thoughts is, I think we're going to see pretty much what we expect to see. I know that Hellside has had their ups and downs. The best that Sphynx can hope for is that they catch them on one of those down weeks. Although I think, and Hap alluded to this, Sphynx is probably coming in with maybe not the best attitude into this, and no blame put on that for them. It's hard to carry what's been momentum against you and somehow try to come into this match motivated. But I think Hellside is definitely coming into this match motivated, looking to hopefully make their season look a little better stat-wise, even though they are out of contention. And they're looking at Sphynx saying, here's the motivation for you, bar none. If anything, we don't want to be that one team that couldn't beat Sphynx. So if that's not motivation for you, I don't know what is. I think the best thing that Sphynx can do is maybe target ban. Hopefully they've been watching VODs on Hellside. They did pick up the 7-3 loss, as you said, whereas Hellside picked up a 7-2 loss. Hopefully they were looking at those VODs of Hellside to see where they fell short on Border. But try as they might, I really don't think that they're going to be able to take a piece out of Hellside for this one.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I just want to give my thoughts. I think that we've had a lot of connection issues, and that's kind of what we're experiencing at the moment from Hellside's spot. It seems for some reason that on Wednesdays, which is where CCS Women's normally is, and we have a lot of leagues obviously on this day, that the whole internet of Europe just seems to die for some reason. Like, God, it's insane. Like I remember, like, especially in like Pro League matches as well, like seeing the blackout map of German internet servers just going down for some reason in the middle of the week. It's well, we're still having those internet problems. We had them last match as well, and I have a suspicion this won't be the last time we have some internet connection issues.
Unfortunately, these are the realities of casting, hosting, putting on a production. We do run into these things. It's unfortunate for the players as well, especially if you're Hellside. You want to get into this. You want to get going. You want to finish out your season. I'm sure Sphynx does too as well. But yeah, just the reality of production sometimes, and gaming as well. I think as gamers, just as individuals, we all know we've all had those frustrating days.
I never had this. I've never had myself not being able to connect. Like I've
Really?
okay, I've played for like a year or something, right? I've always had that one teammate who was never able to connect, or like that one opponent who was never able to connect. It's always the one guy, like, right?
Mhm.
For example, like for other, if you know Panari, he's also always the one that crashes as well. Like it's always some people, and that's like a thing with PC is it's not fully optimized for every setup. So like that is why PC is somewhat more unstable compared to others, especially if you have then a data center flooding in Germany as well, which doesn't really help you if you want to connect from Germany towards the Ubisoft servers. So yeah, unlucky.
But yeah, as we said, we've all been there. Unfortunately, too many times today as well. Just an unfortunate series of events we've had so far. Now talk about. Let's just talk about for a quick moment here. Talk about what if. What if Sphynx pulls this off? We'll have quite an after game to talk about there. And if they pull it off, is it going to be like a down to the wire? They'd have to take them to the end. That would give us one crazy show. What would that make you feel?
It would be more crazy if it would just be a 7-0 for Sphynx to come now. Like, not that it will happen, right? I'm not saying that, but if that will happen, that's way more crazy than down to the wire 8-7 eventually to come down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that definitely would be. That would be like the biggest comeback in like the biggest turnaround, sorry, in Siege history. I think for Sphynx 7-0 a team here now. Obviously for Sphynx here, this match doesn't really matter for them at all. I mean, there is, I think, a potential now though for Titanium Cloud to win their match in Hellside if they do lose this match to move down to 8th. But Sphynx cannot change their standings now. Penta did, of course, well, they lost their match pretty decisively in Spires, but they confirmed their 9th place spot because they have the tiebreaker against Sphynx.
I believe Hellside can still become 6th, actually, if they win this now.
Yeah. I don't think they can. But because
it does look like
beat them, didn't they?
Yeah, but they have the tiebreaker over Samsung, and if Samsung loses from Queen, then they'll actually overtake them like that.
That is true. Okay, yeah, I didn't consider that part, but yeah, there's a lot on the line here for Hellside to bring it in. But we're going to throw to a break here quickly while we wait for these connection issues to be sorted. So we'll see you soon. Well, that break was going to be cut very, very short as the missing member did, of course, return. We're going to go back to border for our third matchup. It's going to be Hellside versus Sphynx. And as you mentioned, just before the break, this is actually a very important match for Sphynx for Hellside, sorry, because they can actually move into that 6th place spot.
Yeah, like it's of course it doesn't give you anything other than the fame and the bragging rights, but it's also like the top of the second half of the leaderboard, basically, right here, right? So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see if they're motivated enough to get there, or indeed if they're motivated enough to be, well, not the only team that didn't manage to beat Sphynx, to make sure that, well, Sphynx is going to be ending this in 009. How harsh it is for them. At least they stuck it through, which you can only respect.
Another factory ban for Sphynx.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, interesting.
Now expecting the pulse ban coming out from Sphynx, honestly.
How are they gonna stick it?
And if they do, that'll be the exact same bans they did the last time they played border. So, well, we will see how exactly this is going to be going down as we move quickly into our very
Oh,
first round.
clash.
That should be a clash ban from Sphynx,
Okay.
which is interesting. We've seen a few clash bans already today.
Yeah, indeed. We've seen some Clash being played. We've seen it been banned sometimes as well. Wonder why. Like, is it a target ban or are they just not willing to play
Just
against
annoying. I mean, with a Thatcher ban, right, as well, you could argue that Clash is a lot more annoying to deal with.
it? Yeah,
So, well,
definitely.
we'll see what Hellside want to do here as we move into round number 1. Of course, Hellside do start out on the attack as we go to a ventilation and room and workshop defense. Again, first defense not being the core site. It's going to be a bit of an offsite.
It's something a lot of teams seem to be doing lately, just starting off at the secondary bomb site. But like at some point, it's starting to become obvious as well. So like it used to be a mind trick, but now it kind of seems to be the standard for a lot of these teams nowadays. So I'm not sure about it. We're gonna have to see how it will work out for Sphynx, as they are starting on the defense. So if they want to get some rounds, then this half is gonna be it for them. They need to try and catch Hellside off their guards with their pants down, so to say, to well make the best of it.
I think there's no reason not to do this, right? Because you get to see the lineup that they are intending to bring for the upstairs attack. You also get to go to an offside and like just throw them off a little bit. Like there's a chance of you being able to throw the other team off. So yeah, I think like this is perfectly valid for teams to want to do this.
I'm more a fan of actually going upstairs and picking the castle in by giving it away.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
I always think that if armory and ventilation are open, you should always get the castle in and the 6 pick it out, because castle is such giveaway operator for ventilation workshop.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, we already see the detention being taken over by Hellside in heavy amounts, and they're gonna find Axie already. That's a great rush coming out from Hellside that already gained that customs control. And looks like they're just going to try and push straight into sight as well.
Yeah, they won't be bothering too much about the top floor, at least so far, as quickly scouting out what is open, what we need to hard breach, and what they need to actually push through. They see the complete back wall is reinforced. I believe that the termite has been called over for the rotation to try and deal with it. However, there is no Thatcher and there is some jammers down there, so they're gonna have to find a different way to deal with it. The question is, will they be able to?
Well, we'll see how this is going to continue to go down. Pinky still playing from above and see what she can do. Is Dina going to try and move into vent successfully? He's able to do so. But there's so much control right now for the attack, but Dina's going to shut it down, and Shanissa is indeed going to be removed out of it. Now moving to a 4v4, but the ventilation is still being held down as Jaime tries to go for those pre-fires all the way from back workshop. This is looking pretty good for Sphynx still, but as I said, Jaime going to wide peek out. Ganesh going to go down, and Thermite Charge, of course, being mute jammed, is going to have to be rotated somewhere else.
Yeah, shot's not really hitting there for Stelenia, as she is going to get refragged straight away by TR Cat. We see a 2-on-3 situation now unfolding. 2 of the attackers still on relatively full HP. As I say that, Ludi is actually getting tagged down quite a bit, but it's going to be a 2-on-2. Smoke still upstairs. Dina right here on the edge. Question is, will they be aware? Plant comes down and actually misses. Why did you not respond to that, Dina? As you right now put up the side of Hellside, and the advantage is they have the plant, they have the after plant. And Picky now will have to drop, but this is probably suicide. This should be heard right now by the Zofia player. Indeed, it will be. And it's going to be Hellside to pick up that frag and get round number 1 in their pocket. But that was actually quite close for Sphynx.
Yeah, I mean, the Meat Jammer Thatcher Bang combo worked really, really well for them. There was no nade being put into the backside there. Loudy picking up a 4K in the very first round and just absolutely shutting down members of Sphynx as she came across them. That detention rush went really, really well for them, you know, initially. And I think their whole plan was there to get that backside of workshop open up, but the mute jammers completely stopped it. They never got any upstairs control to take those mute jammers off the board. We never really saw anything from Hellside to be able to take it off the board, despite the fact they actually had a lot of utility to be able to take that out of the board. I mean, they had Sophia charges, we had nades coming out from them as well.
You saw a bit of panic right afterwards, right?
Yeah, could have been better played by Hellside for sure.
As soon as they realized that wall won't open up, they just all started to run towards the other side through the hallway. And like, if the Valkyrie was able to hit her shots a bit better, it could have just as well been a 3K to come down right there and instantly end the round. as it would be Sphynx in a 2-on-4 situation at that point. So for them, unlucky. Hellside managed to get away with it. They managed to escape with it with that round, as that could have just as well turned around, even though Ludi managed to get some nice entries right there. But now we are going to the top 4. Ventilation didn't work out. Armory Workshop is going to be up next. And what do you think this will bring? Like, what do they have to change to make this work? Because often you see a kind of similar setup for Ventilation Workshop upstairs, but just a little bit less utility being put down, as top 4 is such an important factor on that hold. But then you just see Hellside just rushing in, not giving any crap, so to say, about whatever they do with their roamers. They just clear it out vertically. Is it worth to send down a roamer downstairs now, or?
I think if you can play Nitro downstairs, it can be very, very worth it here, right? Like, because you kind of force the roam clear. Maybe even like if Axie doesn't manage to successfully bandit trick the wall, that she can get off of this and then she could go downstairs instead with the Nitro. And this meanwhile she's got TR Cat down here as well. But it looks like Hellside are gonna go for this downstairs roam clear. Yeah,
indeed. And we see TR Cat just escaping the crosshairs of the Sylphia. He already has 4 kills on the board, but it's going to be Lodi to peek in right there, pick up TR Cat. His bottom floor control gained. Control. Setup. And all they need to do now is get it done vertically, clear out CCTV. I believe they already have control of that, so scrap that off the board. It's going to be Pinky, however, to show herself and get taken out by... Oh, Pinky, no, Ganesh taken down by Pinky right there. And it's only a 2-on-4 situation in favor of Hellside, with Bennett on very low HP right there.
Okay, Flashbang's going very, very deep into the half wall. There's still any moves up. Takes down Axie, and it's all down to Hyper to try and bring this in, but nope, she's going to be out of it. Hellside take round number 2. Things going very, very well for them at the start here. Really good roam clear as well. Although, I will say, like, they set up the crossfire onto that vents area, thinking that the Jaeger was still in there. And the Jaeger obviously rotated out, but then they had a backup drone come through and confirm that presence. But there you go. Yeah, both finding 5 kills of their own.
Could have ended quite badly right there, as indeed both of them basically worth an entire round, as the rest of Hellside is just well, decoration, so to say, for now. Throwing some flashbangs, maybe drone them out, allowing the fraggers to do the work they were hired for. As we are going back to Armory and Archives, we're going to see the Doctor come out of Maestro as well. No Echo. Still not. Not sure why, because Echo can be really, like, utilized well right here if you know where to place your yokais, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Maestro can be as well, but well,
maybe the aggression.
We'll see the Maestro up on the board, and I think honestly that in this situation, the Maestro is way, way, way better, right? Because it is very easy to clear yokai drones off the board when IQ is being brought every single round.
The trick here is that you jiggle that yokai, of course, behind the Halfon to make sure that IQ cannot always shoot it.
Yeah, put it in the Leon spot, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But then I was thinking, is Echo such a good operator if you're facing the aggression that Hellside is bringing you right now? I think Echo is more of an operator that gets more valuable as rounds take longer and longer. So if you're heading into that last 30 seconds, then Echo is really standing out compared to a Maestro, for example. Due to the actual direct potential to deny the plant to go down at the last very second and instantly win that round. So, actually thinking about it, I don't think an Echo will be suiting the current game as it's going right now.
So, we'll see Hellside trying to do whatever they can, and I'm going to open up all of this upstairs area as they're going to move all the way up and hopefully able to nade Pinky out of the spot to be able to ban it Shrugs, but Jaeger ADS is still available, of course. That's going to have to get burned earlier on, but Larry from below, you can put an Ash Charge in there, making sure that the bandit can't play actively on this wall.
Still playing there, and it's going to be TRK actually to get the first frag, and the Termite Charge is getting zapped by the bandit wire, as there was no advanced gadget deployment enabled onto the Termite. That is something you really want to do when you're on the hard breach roll, because if you don't, you cannot stop the deployment anymore. There's a little bit of a rookie mistake right there. Not quite sure how that managed to slip through, but it happened nonetheless. And that is going to be making things quite hard right now. It's a 2-on-4 situation in favor for Sphynx. As they got 1 exothermic charge. They get 3 of the opponents, but then it's going to be a beautiful shot right there onto Dinah. Turning it back into a 2-on-3, and they even a cam on her. So they should have been aware of the fact that she was going to be pushing from that area.
Well, another Ash charge is going to come down. Lady going to try and make her way through instead onto Beepers and see what she can do from there instead. It's a 2v3, so still a very winnable situation for Hellside coming out, but Sphynx have all the angles and all the utility in their favor right now. Pinky still holding on where she can. It's actually has all the Legion mines in the world deployed around this office entrance. It's still holding it down. Toxins can still be deployed here as well. Maxi picks up an easy kill. Let's also defuse it down. Loudy looking to refrag.
We're going to be Loudy now to try and get some. We'll be missing the first shots right there. We'll be stepping into a goose well. That will be wasting just a couple of valuable seconds. But little does she know there's still 3 out there. And will have to be dealt with. And she's going to be peeking in soon. Steps into yet another one. They know exactly where she's going to be at now. Forcing a little bit of more aggressive play to come down from Axie. And the drop comes through. Loudy rotating back to the metal stairs. That should have been heard by the rest of the team. And I'm not sure if they actually pushed the rotate through. Pinky right here, prone. Onto the metal beepers right there. We'll be jumping through. We'll be giving away the position. And there we go. Loudy managed to pick up that kill. Now has the opportunity to go for a free plant right here into Sandwich Window if she wants to do that. Needs to go for the push quickly as the plan now comes down. It's going to be Axie to be the one to try and deny that one. We'll be getting it eventually. As Loudy went off just in time, but wasn't able to get the frag down.
Almost really well played by Loudy to try and bring that in for her team, but unfortunately didn't go too well. Some couple of really good early picks coming up from Sphynx there were able to put themselves on the board. But look at Loudy, it's 8-1 still, despite the fact that unfortunately they did lose that round. She's still doing really, really well for herself. She's getting her frags as we push into round number 4. We see Events Room and Workshop defense now coming through from Sphynx. Which last time, actually, as we said, was actually pretty close. It was actually very winnable.
Yeah, it was indeed very winnable. But mainly due to the fact that Hellside had no idea how to deal with the Mute Gemmers. That is something that they will need to take care of now. Which might actually force them to get the top floor control to just shoot them from the hatches and then allow Scalia to open up that back wall. Or maybe they'll just decide to go for something completely else.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Right now, we're going to see the setup unfold once again. As we are in round number 4. That means that they will have 3 more rounds in total to bring the best out of their defense that they have.
So, I mean, it's the same lineup they brought last time, right? I'm pretty sure the Echo was in there as well. Last time, we did not see Hellside push upstairs at all. They went purely through vents. They, went purely through detention. Got control customs to try to do a workshop push. It didn't work out for them too well because they weren't able to get open that backside. This time, they've not brought the Zofia, though, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah, Loudy did very well on that, just getting a 4K in that first round. Now has swapped over to the Ash. Maybe feels a bit more comfortable on that gun. Not sure. Because I think utility of Ash is actually better than Zofia. So, due to it being we should have just pre-fired that. You just heard that barricade close. Could have been a free kill to come up onto Axie once again. We'll be opening up the castle barricade instead. Bashing out to this one right now. Making it a one-hit vault opportunity. Question is, will she do so? No. We'll be just pre-firing it a bit. Moving down the metal stairs right now. There's 2 people being spotted right there inside. And 4 people right here at the armory wall are just waiting for themselves to themselves a way in. And slowly we'll be getting the first frag now, jumping through. We'll be getting the second one as well. Loudy with a double. Beautifully picked up right there. Both on metal stairs and jumping through, opening up the armory. And it's top floor control now slowly being established, if not completely established already.
It's looking absolutely beautiful for Hellside now. They have all the obsessive control that they could possibly want in the world. And they have the sledge on the board as well. You can start to open up all the vertical play. They seem to be convinced that someone is in this officer's area, but Everyone from Sphynx has completely fallen off right now and has established themselves in sight, and they will start to get picked up. Loudy picks up a third kill of the round. Actually finds a Nitric on Selenia. This is not looking too good as there goes Loudy. Oh no, what a miss peek, and what a pre-flag from Axie comes out as it goes into a 3v1. Skylar picks up 3 kills, all down to Jaime. Does have an Echo Drone, however, available up into vents and should be able to deny the plant going down, but no one switch to it easily enough. And the plant will go down successfully. What a disaster for Sphynx.
To see Misplace by Misplace coming down is the peak from the Fragmite to eventually get Hume. There's the echo of the board who swapped over the Yoka drones too quickly. Wasn't able to get that delay out because, of course, with 1 minute 20 left on the clock, it would never be sufficient and long enough to stall they out for the remainder of the round. Loudy already on 11 kills, just single-handedly opening up the top floor right there for the rest of her team, allowing them to get that control, get the rotations, everything that they need and wish for. Right now, it's 3-1 for Hellside, and Sphynx need to change things up, and they do so by going custom supply. Which is, in my opinion, actually a very good bomb site. Like, not a lot of people like it, but I think that if you have a good defensive strategy, it might actually be better than workshop ventilation.
Really? I think it depends on the operators that are available.
That is true.
Like, if Mirror is up, I would definitely agree with you. But
It being so hard to take CCTV at that point because you can just
Yeah.
completely deny the 90 hallway and break
it
them.
completely depends on how good your CC hold is here, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have
That
a
is
really strong CC hold, then yeah, it can go really, really well for you. But, well, I'm interested to see how this does go down. Other sites haven't worked out too well for them, so I do like the opportunity for Sphynx just to change it up and just go somewhere different. The Rook pick is interesting here.
Attackers have located
Has
a
she
bomb.
put down her armor? Yes. Okay. That's good. I've seen it happen sometimes that people pick Rook and they just don't put down their utility.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Is she gonna spawn peek though with that echo? No. Okay. Mystery solved. That's an early lion drone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the like that E1D. I'm not sure. It's way too early in my opinion. Like,
I think it was more just for the straight, being able to push into tells and just go straight for it. But we'll see. Loudy is going to make her way through into waiting room and just holding it down. Another lion drone is indeed going to be going out. Axie still convinced that it is going to be detention side push, but Hellside are going to be making their way across the map, already establishing that tells controls line. He pushes all the way up. TR goes down, and already we find ourselves in a 5v3. Ganesh finds that entry kill. Dina trying to peek out from workshop, unable to find anything in Hellside. I'm going to know exactly where she is now as they push into sight. Shinessa has control. E1D does go out just in time before Axie does take her down. Now with 3v4 as well as the Jaeger pushes in, will trade out with Loudy, and this is not looking good for Sphynx at all. They've lost huge amounts of control, but they have brought Lion and of course that top frag of Loudy off the board.
yeah, that's quite important right there. Right now we see the workshop control to be established right there by the side of Hellside. Sphynx is just trying to get back into it. It's going to be Pinky that actually gets stacked up. There should have been a confirmed kill as well. She was pretty vulnerable right there when vaulting up in that animation. There's nothing she could do to fight back or get into a safe spot. So Hellside not being able to work with that, get split out, but won't be killed eventually. And look at this angle that they're trying to pull right here. Crawls forward, spots out the head. Will be taking it up twice again. Will be taking it up again, and that's the kill. And Ganesh with the last one onto Axie. And it's Hellside to win round number 5 and bring it to 4-1. And Sphynx right here managed to, well, try and bring it close, but then again, when it turned into a 2-on-3 situation, they were not passive enough. They just tried to peek, and that's something you don't need to do at that point. You need to wait until they come for you.
Look at that from Loudy, 13-3 already. Looking like a little bit of a repeat performance from a certain someone from last game, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to push into round number 6. It is going to be the final defense here for Sphynx, and we'll see how that does work out as they're going to go back to the Armory Lockers and Archives defense.
Yeah, it worked out once for them. It's the only round they've won so far. So,
yeah.
that might be the way that they are going to be getting in their second round as well. Make sure that Sphynx is not going to be 5-1
Attackers
on the
need to
back foot.
locate and defuse bombs.
Well, we'll see how this does go down, as we'll see. Of course, our final defense is going to be the Armory Lockers and Archives. We've seen, however, the Valkyrie making an appearance in Sphinx's defense. Do like the Valkyrie here. I think it helps with like being aggressive as well if they do want to go for that. We have already seen Sphynx do a little bit of that in the past few rounds.
But only if you have the coordination though. Like you need someone to be on the cams to give you good callouts. Like your communication is key if you're using the Valkyrie to go aggressive. Because you cannot hold the cam yourself and then run out, right? Like it might be too late already. You really want that real-time information to know whether or not they're standing, they're prone, they're crouched, if they're on the corner or if they're wide, all that kind of stuff. If you're checking on the cam and then you're running out, it's already 2 or 3 seconds past again, and they could be in a complete different spot, catching you off guard. So Valkyrie is excelling. Well, it's good for solo players for sure, but it's excelling when played with good communication within your team. And well, that is of course where Siege is all about. So I believe the first black guy already got taken out right here.
Yeah, and just instant CC control as well, coming out from Hellside so early on. They should be able to get this wall open, and Lottie is going to move off and should be able to use those OVA charges to get the bandit off the wall from below. Pinky's been really aggressive on this wall as well. Like, well, it's going to punish her this time. It's still in here. Instantly takes her off the board. Pinky goes down. I'm going to do that bandit off the board, so they should be able to get that wall instantly opened up.
Yeah.
And, well, this isn't looking too good for Sphynx.
I was about to say, like, she's playing really aggressive indeed, and just make sure it won't come back to punish you for it. And that's exactly what happened there. They read it, and they managed to take advantage of it. And right now, it's going to be a beautiful wobbing to come down from Stelenia. But in the meantime, is the flank from CCTV. No one is holding it, and is the Termite also being down. But I believe they have no clue yet. Right now, the peak seems to be coming in from TR Cat. No, stays in the corner. And it's going to be Hellside that needs to go aggressive now. Kill confirmed. And that's a 3-on-3 situation left now. We see Hellside trying to hold it off if she tries to rotate back. And there we go. Loudy just taking him clean off. Taking the head clean off. And it's going to be a 2-on-3 situation. Yet again in favor for Hellside. But they lost 2 very, well, important players right there. Onto that flank right there from TR Cat.
Yeah, but I mean, their office push should be going well for them. They don't have control of the diffuser, however, and it looks like they aren't interested in recovering it right now. They've got plenty of time to work with here, as well as they're slowly going to, but surely, trying to move into sight to get a little bit more control. Laddie going to try and off the crosses as well as recover the diffuser. Both members of Sphynx are alive and in sight. Of course, Jaime does still have that nitro cell available to herself. So Ganesh slowly goes for that peek around, but it looks like a little bit of a crossfire eating established here as well. As Lada is actually going to rotate all the way back now as well for this office push. But Ganesh slowly peeking around, making sure that she can see where she is. But the pre-fires are going to come down as Lowdy instantly picks Jaime off the board through the wall. And Lodge moves in and gets a double kill out of it as well. Hellside take number 6. And yeah, let's think a 5-1 start for them on the attack.
Loudy is such a strong player on this team right here. Knows exactly where these players are located at. And that shows you the difference between Sphynx and Hellside right now. Hellside passing through that information quite effectively right there. Loudy being able to, well, tie that all together, make some nice frags out of it as she's currently on 16-on-3 right now. And, well, we at least have 2 more rounds to go, so that might even go to 20 if she continues her current KPR. Sphynx looks hopeless, though. Especially that last round. They managed to fight back due to a single flank. Right, it was a 5-on-3 situation. Then the flank came in because there was no flank watch to come through. Or at least there was flank watch, but it was not sufficient enough. And then it turned all around, it looked like, but then still relatively easily cleaned up right there by the likes of Hellside. Like it was nothing, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, complete disaster indeed coming through there. Well, we'll have a look what Sphynx want to do in their attacks, but things, as you said, have not looking great for them at all. They're going to have to find 5 attack rounds if they want to bring this into overtime. Or, you know, as you know, indeed get a win here. I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
We've seen it before.
We've seen bigger upsets before, I think,
yeah,
honestly.
We've seen 6-0s turn around to 6-6 and then just trade up 2 rounds in overtime. It happens. And that's the beauty of Siege. It's never over until it's actually over.
5 seconds left.
So it goes with most of the sports. But that means we are going to round number 7 now. The action phase has started, and we see Skylia going for a key little spawn peeky. No one seems to be coming there as of yet, though. Oh, actually, will you go off in time, or is it going to be the spawn kill to come through? No, goes off at the exact moment that Dyna was going to be trying to drone that out. And spots out the actual barricade has been opened up, so we might see a contest to come in soon.
You might just see that. It looks like Light is actually going to go for the run out outside of East Stairs, but still aggressively holding on to it. And you see the Jaeger, you see the Doc, you see they're all playing aggressively. You know exactly what Hellside want to do to try and play this out. Messina is going to throw out Loudy there, but she's finding drones there. Like, she's wasting time, and she's causing the attackers to be hesitant. So, being able to play that angle for so long has actually worked out for her quite well. As Ganesh is actually going to get docked up. So, it's all fine.
Yeah, indeed. And due to the changes, of course, just a stim pistol instead of helping up first, and then a stim pistol due to the stim giving more HP. Still, now. As Dyna moving in from the stairs now, realizing it's going to be clear, they're starting to gain some control of the map, but the question is, will it be enough, as Loudy is sitting here in the office? If they don't check this corner, it's going to end quite badly, as it's Skyly actually with the first frag. Not sure, I believe that was from Vent's window. And that is definitely going to be, well, a tough start for Sphynx on their first attacking side. The first attacking round.
Losing your Nomad on that AC control, that's not good at all. TRCat is going to be able to regain that control, however, as Dina moving through onto this east stairs. So you see that strategy is going to be coming through as Dina just takes Selenia off the board. TRCat herself is, of course, injured. Not out of it, but is down. She'll be able to revive herself if she needed to, but Biggie should be able to get that revive up on the board. Drones are going to be going out, but getting to that last minute on the round now. Things not looking too good as Shinessa will take the thermite off the board. Another kill for Shinessa as well, as Dina is out of it. And it's all down to the two ladies on AC, as one of them does go down to Ganesh, and it's all down to Pinky in a 1v4.
Grenade comes in beautifully tossed right there, but unfortunately won't be finding anyone. Not properly cooked either.
There's also an ADS still up, like, deep into archives, so
yeah,
she's not going to be able to get too much use out of her other frag grenade here. As we move to the last 35 seconds, this one should get ADS, but no, it's going to miss as well, and she's going to drop off entirely, would look like. Docs are going to come out, the jump comes out from Bloody, and that's going to be Hellside. He's at round number 7 to put themselves up onto match point.
Pretty flawless round, so to say. Not completely, I believe, but it was, yeah, not really contested. We can tell you that. Hellside just completely outclassing Sphynx right here on their defense. Sphynx not being able to respond with any question, with any answer. As Loudy, that is going to be on 17 kills right now. Still, just showing off. Showing what she can do.
Yeah, just absolutely dominating this matchup right now. 17-3, and yeah, well, Sphynx are going to have to find 5 rounds in a row if they want to bring this into overtime for themselves, but, well, that isn't looking likely. We see the double French coming out from Hellside, and that should be a big indicator of how they exactly want to play this right now. But we do see the Monty for the first time coming out from Sphynx. Oh, no, it's going to get 6 picks.
No.
Oh, no, okay.
Oh, okay. That's, okay, 6-pick Monty to Monty. Also, what I'm saying is not always, the 6-picks are not always being used, right? I myself think that's wasted utility, right? Like, in my opinion, like, you want to always use that 6-pick to toss your opponent off guard, just give them that little bit of uncertainty.
Sure.
Because if you don't, you're basically just giving away your lineup, allow them to change, and if you don't change anything, you might not even be outplaying them with that. Like, picking an Echo, for example, that will most likely force an IQ to go onto the field. Then you 6-pick off that Echo, you go something else that an IQ is completely, like, useless against, and you outplay them with the 6-pick. Like, I like those kind of mind games. Like, I like to see them coming out, and it actually helps you out as well, as you basically deny utility from the opposing team straight away. But, like, I'm not seeing it often. Like, it happens so often in Tier 3 leagues. Oh, that's a long run out indeed. Unfortunately,
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think you should be using the 6-pick. Pretty much, there's no real excuse not to use the 6-pick in most cases. So.
Yeah, it's free and it's given, and they will not know if you do it. So it's just free. And what we often see is people first picking in the operator they want, then swapping out in preparation, like in the pick phase, to actual operator they don't want. to six pick back to the operator they first chose, so you can most of the time predict it. But you'll also often see just nothing happening, and I'm always thinking like it's such a shame. Like maybe you would have won the round if you actually did it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering all the time.
There's about 2 minutes left to go on the clock, and not a huge amount of progress made by Sphynx just yet, as Hellside still holding on. But Lowry, the star player of Hellside, is already off the board. This is a great start so far coming through. Still in here, still holding down. Is going to try and retreat off the board, but not getting taken off just yet. I believe that was indeed the Nomad up onto 90. Yes, Jaime is managed to push through in the rotate there, but not being able to eliminate those roamers early off may punish Sphynx here severely.
Yeah, definitely. You wanna, if you get those free kills, so to say, you wanna just get them straight away. And if you don't, it will come back to you eventually in the form of a flank or in the form of someone just surprising you, catching you off guard. And that is always wondering.
Well, Jaime, however, is going to capitalize on that. Just taking Nesh off the board, making up for her earlier mistakes. So we'll see Skylar going to be holding down, but TR Cut finds one of her own. Another one for TR Cut all the way from waiting room, and it's all of a sudden all down to Skylar. Just pick up one to TR Cut. Nice refrag coming out from her, but well, she's going to meet the Monty, and the rotation starts to come through from Skylar. But it's a 1v4 with all of it to do, and Sphynx eventually will bring her down. Jaime takes the kill on the board, and it's going to be Sphynx who take their very first attack round. So 4 more attacks like that, and they're in business.
Yeah, and then they're finally back to put up some competition right here. Maybe we will get that that 8-7 that Brimstone hoped to see. As Sphynx will need to fight 4 more first, though. Like it's hard. It's a hard task for them. That's for sure. Maybe if TR Cat steps up his game like he just did, they will manage to bring it close. At least they, I hope for them that they pick up more than 3 rounds today. 6 big people. Good job. Good job, Sphynx. Thank you. Okay, Hellside not doing it. I just don't know. Like, okay, you're winning right now. But I'm just thinking, like, at some point it could come back and it could have actually costed you the round, maybe. And eventually a round can cost you a match, and a match can cost you a tournament. You always got to think like that. It's the small things that matter, and that's a 6 pick to come through.
The devil's in the detail. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I like the Monty pick being stuck here because I think the Monty did them a huge amount of favors in the game clip. You could see that Loudy was trying to contest that initial clear, and it just wasn't working for her at all. And with the Monty in the way, she decided to book it out of there. And yeah, well, the refrag did come through. It almost actually got them 3 kills on the top of metal when I think all of Hellside kind of realized the Monty push was going to come through, and they had nothing to deal with it, so they kind of booked it out of there. And we almost had the Nomad pick up a 3K up on that rotate. Well, we'll see how it's going to go down as we move into match point. Still is Hellside playing very aggressively still, but there is a line on the board and there's a Monty on the board still again from Sphynx.
Indeed. Let's see, 5v5 once again as we are heading into, well, another match point, so to say. There's 4 more on the board that Sphynx will have to fight back. Will the Monty be just as effective as it was last time as well, or will they be making short work of it this time? That's the question that we will have on our minds for the coming 2.5 minutes, as it's going to be Hellside to try and fend them off for one last time. He will need to come out right now. We'll actually split out 2 players. That's pretty huge, as it gives you pretty much information about where the players are going to be coming from. It's going to be Jaime actually to lose the gunfight against Loudy. You know, it's going to be quite low herself, but as the E1D is now removed off the board, that's huge. It's a lot of intelligence gone, and as they're playing the Monty and the Lion setup, they are playing on the intelligence right here to get these kills.
That was a huge pick from Loudy. I have no idea how Jaime lost that battle, but Loudy is going to get docked up, so it's not going to matter too much in losing that HP. And it's about halfway into the round now, and things for Hellside are looking great. They have all the control that they need. There's not a huge amount of progress being made by Sphynx. They do, however, still have the Monty on the board, and they are going to clear out CC now and see what they can do from that side. But Loudy has regained that control over Armory.
Yeah, Armory, of course, not being contested as she actually didn't spot out the shield there, I think, through the little hole that was being created. Ganesh, though, is going to be aware of it, fully aware of it. There's going to be TR-Cat to get yet another frag. Has to be careful because he's going to go for the second. Will we getting that? No, it's going to be Ganesh to finally take that one down. TR-Cat, she tried to create an opening once again. Wasn't able to do so as of yet. It's going to be loudly removed from the board, though, which is still a huge pick, but they still need to move downwards.
Oh,
look at that. Ooh, beautiful shot to come down.
Yeah, Shinessa getting a great pick onto Pinky there. That is, of course, nades off the table now. This is looking pretty awful for Sphynx to try and bring this in there. However, do you have the Monty up at the board? I think the Monty's done them a lot of favors here. Exactly, should be able to get the onto the hatch. Shinessa trying to get around the Monty, of course, not able to do so just yet. Shinessa still going for this peak, doesn't have a natural cell in her back pocket, but Axie is going to get injured. And that should be pretty much game, set, and match until the Monty can pull off something ridiculous here, but Shinessa shuts her down, and Hellside takes round number 9. They'll take the match 7-2.
It was so predictable right here. As soon as that shield dropped, she was going to be going for the knife. You see the aim as well, pre-fire coming through, just to make sure you get that headshot right before. And that means indeed the 7-2 to come out. It's 2 more rounds on the side of Sphynx. And, well, unlucky for them. But it's going to be Hellside to be taking home that win, to be taking home the 9th loss that Sphynx has suffered, and to put themselves onto potentially the 6th place if it is going to be Samsung to lose from Queen, of course. That is the other matchup that needs to go through. So yeah, interesting matchup.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a matchup here where Sphynx actually managed to take a bit of a chunk out of Hellside. 2 rounds. That's the second most amount that they've taken out of any team in a match so far. But much like the match before it, Spies versus DV, still a very, very quick one. The one thing that I wanted to ask you guys about, at least that I noticed through the match, is even in the moments where Hellside gave Sphynx, I wouldn't say an upper hand, but at least maybe a favorable position, Sphynx wasn't winning those gunfights that it took to take those moments and then make them into their advantage. Was it their... So I guess my question to you, I'll throw this to you, Hap. Was this more of a tactical issue or a gunfight issue in your opinion?
Well, you definitely saw some gunfights being lost that should have been won as well. So, I mean, there's an issue there. But also, I think on a tactical perspective, there was some things lacking that could have been improved. You saw some rotates that were questionable. You saw people being taken off due to being too aggressive, such as the Bandit being in an aggressive spot, tried to contest the wall right there, but there was no one there to help her. So at that point, like when you're going to get contested, like a stun grenade or a grenade comes in, you're basically done for already, right? So there was not enough crossfires in my opinion, and just a bit like stupid peaks, so to say. I think that's it, yeah.
I think Laurie was just winning a lot of gunfights that she
well,
should not have won at all. So like peeking into the Lion on CC dub, the Lion easily should win that gunfight. Like there's 9 times out of 10 the Lion wins that. So, and Laurie was just putting a lot of bodies on the board in fights, as you say, like really aggressive peaks coming out. But yeah, I mean, Sphynx have learned a bit. I think the Monty play was definitely a good play from them, and like they were adapting, they were changing stuff up as it came, but unfortunately it just wasn't working out for them.
Yeah, they definitely breathed a bit of life back in that game with that change up there, with Monty making it interesting. We will now, though, switch to a quick break here. We'll be back in 5 minutes, grab some snacks, go to the washroom, whatever you need to do. And when we come back, my personal favorite, what I've been looking forward to all evening, is going to be Team Queen versus SMS Athena. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.